Hi, I am Sophia. Welcome to True Payback, where story hits different. Hit subscribe. Let's dive in.
My sister Amanda and I used to be close. Growing up, we shared everything: secrets, clothes, dreams about our futures. She wanted to be a physical therapist and help people heal. I wanted to work in healthcare policy, making the system better for everyone. Then came the car accident when I was 23. A drunk driver ran a red light. My spine was shattered in 3 places. The surgeons at Johns Hopkins performed a miracle. I survived. But the damage was permanent. Incomplete spinal cord injury at T12L1. Some days I could walk short distances with crutches. Most days I needed my wheelchair. Amanda visited me once in the hospital. Once, she stood at the foot of my bed, arms crossed, and said, "Well, I guess this changes your career plans." I was still on a ventilator. I couldn't even respond. After that, she got busy. Physical therapy school consumed her life, she said. Then her internship. Then opening wellness PT clinic with her business partner, Derek Chen. She never had time to visit, to call, to check on how I was rebuilding my entire existence from a wheelchair. Meanwhile, I was doing exactly that, rebuilding. The accident had happened during my master's program in health policy at Georgetown. I'd been working as a graduate research assistant for Dr. Patricia Reynolds, who chaired the state medical board. Dr. Reynolds didn't abandon me like my family did. She visited weekly, brought me research articles, kept my mind sharp when my body was broken. "Your brain is your greatest asset," she told me during one visit. "Don't let anyone make you forget that." I finished my master's degree from my hospital bed and rehab facility. Dr. Reynolds hired me as a healthcare policy analyst the day I was discharged. Within 3 years, I'd become her senior policy director. Within 5, I was appointed to the state medical board myself, the youngest member in the board's history. I specialized in healthcare facility compliance and patient safety. It was my job to review complaints against medical practices, investigate violations, and recommend disciplinary actions. I took the work seriously. Too many vulnerable patients were being exploited by practitioners who saw them as profit centers rather than human beings. My family had no idea about any of this. To them, I was still poor Emma in her wheelchair, struggling to get by, probably on disability payments. They never asked about my work. Never visited my townhouse in the city. Never noticed that I drove a customized Tesla or that my clothes were designer brands chosen for both style and accessibility. Amanda especially never asked. She was too busy posting about her clinic's success on social media, showing off her growing business, her perfect boyfriend-turned-fiancé Marcus, her ideal life. I watched it all from a distance. I'd stopped trying to connect with her after the 3rd or 4th time she'd canceled plans because something important came up. The message was clear. I wasn't important. My disability made me an inconvenience, an embarrassment, a reminder of imperfection in her perfect world. So I stopped reaching out. I focused on my work, my real friends, my chosen family, the people who saw me as a whole person, not a broken one. Then the wedding invitation arrived. Elegant cream cardstock with rose gold lettering. "Amanda Marie Foster and Marcus James Wellington request the honor of your presence. Black tie optional. Registry at 4 upscale stores." No phone call. No personal note. Just the formal invitation, probably sent because Mom insisted it would look bad if her sister wasn't invited. I almost declined. Then I thought about it strategically. This was a chance to show up, be civil, and prove I'd moved on. I'd attend the ceremony, make a brief appearance at the reception, and leave. Professional. Polite. Done. I didn't mention that I'd recently closed a major investigation into patient privacy violations at a local physical therapy clinic. I definitely didn't mention that Wellness PT Clinic, Amanda's clinic, had been flagged in a routine audit 6 months earlier for potential insurance fraud and questionable billing practices. The complaint had been filed by a former patient who'd been pressured to continue unnecessary treatments. When I'd received the file for review, I'd immediately recused myself from the initial assessment due to the family connection. But I'd also flagged it for priority investigation by our most thorough compliance officer. The evidence that came back was damning. Wellness PT was systematically billing for services not rendered, extending treatment plans beyond medical necessity, and pressuring patients, many of them elderly or disabled, to continue paying for care they didn't need. I'd assigned the case to Dr. Reynolds herself for final review. She'd seen the family connection in my recusal notice. "This is your sister's clinic?" she'd asked, looking up from the file. "Yes. And you want this investigated thoroughly despite that?" "Especially because of that," I'd said. "Vulnerable patients deserve protection. Family doesn't get a pass on ethics violations." Dr. Reynolds had smiled. "This is why you're excellent at your job, Emma. No exceptions, no excuses." The investigation had been proceeding quietly for months. Amanda had no idea. As far as she knew, her clinic was thriving, her reputation was golden, and her future was bright. The wedding was at a country club. Of course it was. Manicured lawns, crystal chandeliers, a string quartet playing while guests arrived. I navigated my wheelchair up the accessible ramp, noting that it was the bare minimum required by ADA code. Typical. Mom found me immediately. "Emma, you made it. How are you getting around okay?" "I have a wheelchair, Mom." "Same as always." "Yes, but I mean, is someone helping you? Do you need anything?" "I'm fine. I'd been managing my own life for 7 years. But sure, let's pretend I needed help with basic navigation." Dad appeared, uncomfortable in his tuxedo. "Good to see you, Emma. You look nice." Nice. The word you use when you can't think of an actual compliment. "Thank you. Congratulations on Amanda's big day." They exchanged glances. That look parents get when they're relieved you're being reasonable about something. Then they hurried off to greet more important guests. I found my assigned seat. Table 12. In the back corner. Far from the head table where family was supposed to sit. I'd been placed with Amanda's college acquaintances and distant cousins. People who didn't know me, didn't care, and wouldn't notice if I left early. Perfect, actually. I could observe without being observed. The ceremony was beautiful. I'd give Amanda that. She'd always had excellent taste. The vows were personal and sweet. Marcus seemed genuinely devoted. For a moment I felt a pang of sadness for what we'd lost, the sister relationship that could have been. Then we moved to the reception and that feeling evaporated. The seating arrangement put me directly in Amanda's sight line from the head table. I watched her notice me, watched her expression shift from surprise to something like annoyance. She leaned over to whisper something to Marcus, who glanced my way and nodded. I knew that look. I'd seen it hundreds of times over the past 7 years. That's the wheelchair person look. The mixture of pity and discomfort people get when they don't know how to act around disability. Dinner was served. Speeches were made. Amanda's maid of honor told funny stories about their friendship. Marcus's best man made jokes about married life. Everyone laughed and toasted and celebrated. I sat quietly, checking my phone periodically. I had work emails to review. A new complaint about a medical imaging facility that needed urgent attention. I was composing a response when Amanda's voice suddenly cut through the reception noise. "Emma. Emma." I looked up. She was standing at the microphone, her white dress shimmering under the lights. Every eye in the room turned toward me. "My little sister, everyone," Amanda announced, her voice tight with something that wasn't affection. "I want to thank her for coming despite everything." My stomach dropped. This wasn't going to be good. "You know," Amanda continued, walking away from the head table, her microphone still live, "Emma and I used to be so close. Before her accident. Before everything changed." People were murmuring now, confused about where this was going. "I've tried so hard to stay connected," Amanda said, and I could hear the tears building in her voice. The performance tears she'd perfected in high school drama club. "But it's been so difficult. Emma became so bitter after the accident. So angry at the world. At me." I sat perfectly still. My hands gripped the armrests of my wheelchair. "I invited her today because I really hoped, that she could be happy for me. That she could put aside her anger for just one day. But I should have known better." She was walking toward my table now, her entourage of bridesmaids following like a reality TV show camera crew. All day I've watched her sitting here on her phone, not engaging with anyone. Not even trying to celebrate with us. Just absorbed in her own world. Her own problems. My phone buzzed. An email from Dr. Reynolds. "Investigation complete. Final hearing scheduled for Monday. Recommend license suspension pending remediation." Amanda reached my table. Guests were pulling out phones now, recording this moment. Someone's aunt was crying. And you know what the worst part is? Amanda said, her voice breaking perfectly on cue. She's not even really disabled. The room went silent. That's right, Amanda continued louder now. I'm a physical therapist. I know what real spinal cord injuries look like. I know what real disabilities require. Emma? She's been faking the severity of her condition for years. My mother gasped from across the room. I've seen her walk, Amanda said. I've seen her do things she claims she can't do. She uses that wheelchair for attention. For sympathy. For special treatment. And I'm tired of pretending I don't see it. She was standing directly in front of me now, looking down, her perfect makeup starting to run with calculated tears. So I'm saying it. Right here, right now at my wedding. Stop faking your disability for attention, Emma. It's embarrassing. 300 guests stared at me. Phones pointed. Someone's uncle said, "Oh my God," loud enough to be heard. I looked up at my sister. At the woman who'd abandoned me in my darkest hour. At the healthcare professional who was violating every ethical principle of her profession by publicly diagnosing and dismissing a patient's condition. I could have cried. I could have defended myself. I could have explained the complexity of incomplete spinal cord injuries, how some days I have more function than others, how wheelchair use isn't an all-or-nothing proposition. Instead, I replied calmly, "If you say so." I pulled out my phone and opened my secure messaging app. I typed a single message to Dr. Patricia Reynolds, Director of the State Medical Board. Dr. Reynolds, regarding complaint number 2847 against Wellness PT Clinic. Please proceed with full investigation and final hearing. Evidence of ethical violations now includes public disclosure of perceived patient medical information and professional diagnostic statements made without proper examination or medical relationship. Video evidence being compiled. Recommend immediate review for license suspension. I hit send. Then I forwarded the message to Derek Chin, Amanda's business partner and co-owner of Wellness PT Clinic. Derek, who had no idea his business was under investigation. Derek, who was about to have a very bad evening. Amanda was still standing there waiting for me to react, to cry, to cause a scene that would justify her public humiliation of me. "Is that all?" I asked quietly. "Don't you have anything to say for yourself?" she demanded. "I think you've said enough for both of us." I placed my phone face down on the table. "Congratulations on your marriage, Amanda. I hope it brings you everything you deserve." The subtle emphasis on deserve wasn't lost on her. Her eyes narrowed. "Are you threatening me? I'm wishing you well. Isn't that what sisters do?" She opened her mouth to respond, but her phone started ringing. Then ringing again. She pulled it out, frowning at the screen. Derchin. Calling on her wedding day. She declined the call. It immediately rang again. "Excuse me," she said coldly, walking away from my table, her bridesmaids following. I watched her disappear into the country club hallway, phone pressed to her ear. Through the windows I could see her pacing, her free hand gesturing wildly. Marcus appeared at the microphone, trying to salvage the reception. Let's hear it for our amazing DJ. Time to get this party started." Music blared. People slowly returned to their conversations, though many kept glancing at me, phones still ready. My phone buzzed. A text from Dr. Reynolds. Received. Monday hearing moved to emergency session Friday 9 a.m. This crosses every line. "I'm sorry, it's your sister, Emma." I texted back. "Don't be sorry. She made her choices." Another buzz. This one from Derek Chin. "Emma, I just got flagged by the medical board for an emergency compliance hearing. Did you know about this? Please call me." I didn't respond to Derek. He'd find out everything soon enough. Amanda was still in the hallway. I could see her through the windows, her phone pressed to her ear with one hand, the other hand gripping her carefully styled hair. Her face was red. Even from here I could tell she was crying. Real tears this time, not performance tears. Her business partner had called her 14 times in 20 minutes. I checked my email again. The compliance officer had sent through the final investigation report, flagged urgent. I skimmed it quickly. Wellness PT Clinic systematic violations including fraudulent billing for services not rendered 43 documented cases, unnecessary treatment extensions 67 documented cases, patient coercion and undue influence 23 documented complaints, failure to maintain proper documentation standards, violation of patient privacy laws, 12 cases, and unprofessional conduct including public medical commentary without proper patient relationship. The last item was new, added within the last hour. Someone on the board had already seen the wedding footage going viral on social media. I looked around the reception. At least 30 people had recorded Amanda's speech. By tomorrow morning it would be everywhere. Physical therapist publicly accuses sister of faking disability at her own wedding. The professional consequences would be swift. Amanda finally came back inside. Her makeup was ruined. Her carefully styled hair was disheveled. Marcus met her at the doorway, concerned, trying to understand what was happening. She scanned the room and her eyes locked on mine. The look she gave me was pure hatred. She started walking toward my table again, but Derek Chin appeared at the entrance, still in his suit from earlier. He'd clearly been at the reception as a guest. He intercepted Amanda, pulling her aside urgently. I watched them argue. Watched Derek show her something on his phone. Watched Amanda's face go from angry to confused to absolutely pale. She looked at me again. This time the hatred was mixed with something else. Fear. Marcus joined them, trying to understand. Amanda was crying again, gesturing wildly, pointing at her phone, at Derek, at me. My mother appeared at my table. Emma, what's going on? Amanda seems upset. I imagine she's having a stressful day, I said calmly. Did you do something? After what she said, did you? Mom, I've been sitting here quietly all evening. Whatever Amanda's dealing with has nothing to do with me. That wasn't entirely true, but it wasn't entirely false either. I hadn't created the problems at Wellness PT Clinic. I just made sure they were properly investigated. Dad, join Mom. We should go. This whole thing is a disaster. Amanda's reputation will be fine if she hasn't done anything wrong, I said. Professional investigations are confidential unless violations are found. Dad's eyes widened. Professional investigation? Emma, what are you talking about? I think you should ask Amanda about her business practices, I said. Now if you'll excuse me, I should be going. I started to wheel away from the table, but Mom grabbed my wheelchair handle. Don't you dare, she hissed. Don't you dare ruin your sister's wedding day. I looked up at her. Mom, let go of my wheelchair. Not until you tell me what you've done. I haven't done anything except my job. Now let go, or we can discuss this with venue security. She released the handle like it had burned her. I navigated through the reception, very aware of the phones still tracking my movement, the whispered conversations, the stares. Let them stare. Let them record. Every second of footage was more evidence of how I'd been treated, how I'd remained calm and professional while being publicly attacked. Amanda intercepted me at the exit. You did this, she said, her voice shaking. You orchestrated this whole thing. I attended your wedding as invited, I said calmly. You're the one who chose to give a speech about my medical condition. Derek said we're being investigated. By the medical board. He said there's a hearing on Friday. He said they could suspend our license. Then I suggest you hire a good attorney. You're on the medical board, she said, the realization hitting her. You're the one who... I recused myself from the initial review due to family conflict of interest, I said. Everything after that was handled by independent investigators and compliance officers. If violations were found, that's because violations existed. You could have warned me. You could have helped me fix things before it got to this. Why would I do that? We're not close, remember? You've made that abundantly clear for 7 years. I'm your sister. You stopped being my sister the day you walked out of my hospital room and never came back. I moved my wheelchair forward and she had to step aside. Congratulations again on your marriage, Amanda. I hope it survives what's coming. I left the country club and found my accessible van in the parking lot. My hands were shaking as I transferred from wheelchair to driver's seat, but I managed. I'd been doing this for years. My phone was exploding with messages. Friends who'd seen the video online. Colleagues from the medical board asking if I was okay. Dr. Reynolds calling to check on me. I didn't answer any of them. I just drove home to my townhouse, transferred back to my wheelchair, and rolled inside to the life I'd built without my family's help or approval. The video went viral overnight. Physical therapist accuses sister of faking disability, was trending by Friday morning. The comments were brutal, mostly against Amanda. How can a healthcare professional publicly diagnose someone without examination? Incomplete spinal cord injuries are complex. This is medical abuse. She humiliated her own sister at her wedding. Disgusting. The state medical board hearing was Friday at 9 a.m. I didn't attend. My recusal was complete and documented. But Dr. Reynolds called me afterward. License suspended for 90 days pending remediation, she said. Derek Chen's been placed on probation for failure to supervise. The clinic's Medicare billing privileges are being reviewed. Emma, I need to ask, are you okay with this outcome? Is it the right outcome based on the evidence? Yes. Multiple violations, patient harm, ethical breaches. Then I'm okay with it. She's your sister. She was my sister, I corrected. Now she's just someone who learned that actions have consequences. The suspension made news. Local PT clinic under investigation after viral wedding video. Amanda's perfect life was unraveling in real time, broadcasted for everyone to see. My mother called, screaming about family loyalty. My father sent a long email about forgiveness and moving forward. Cousins and aunts and uncles weighed in on social media, some supporting me, most condemning me for destroying Amanda's career. I blocked them all. Marcus called 2 weeks later. Emma, I need to understand something. Okay. Did you know about the investigation before the wedding? Yes. And you came anyway. I was invited. I attended. Amanda chose to publicly attack my medical condition. I chose to do my job. She's lost everything. The clinic, her reputation, her license. She violated patient trust and professional ethics. The consequences match the violations. She's my wife. She's devastated. Then help her become a better person and a better healthcare provider. That's what spouses do. He was quiet for a long moment. She said you were always jealous of her. Marcus, I'm a senior policy director for the state medical board. I own my home. I have a career I love and people who value me. What exactly would I be jealous of? She said the disability made you bitter. The disability made me stronger. Amanda's cruelty made me strategic. There's a difference. I hung up. 3 months later, Amanda completed her remediation program. Ethics training, billing compliance courses, supervised practice requirements. Her license was reinstated with conditions. Wellness PT clinic survived, barely, with Derek Chen taking over primary management. Amanda sent me a letter. Handwritten. Delivered by certified mail. Emma, I'll never forgive you for what you did. You destroyed my wedding day. You ruined my career. You humiliated me in front of everyone I know. But I understand now why you did it. I abandoned you when you needed family most. I dismissed your pain. I built my career helping people recover from injuries while refusing to acknowledge yours. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I just want you to know that I understand. I also understand that you're not faking anything. My remediation supervisor made me review the medical literature on incomplete spinal cord injuries. Made me understand the variability, the complexity, the daily challenges. I was wrong. About everything. I don't expect to hear back from you. I just needed to say it. Amanda. I read the letter 3 times. Then I filed it away in my desk drawer. She was right, I wasn't ready to forgive. Maybe I never would be. But at least she finally understood the cost of her choices. 6 months after the wedding, I was promoted to assistant director of the state medical board. Dr. Reynolds retired, recommending me as her successor. At 31, I became one of the youngest senior healthcare policy officials in the state. My family wasn't at my celebration dinner. But my real family was the colleagues who valued my work, the friends who saw my worth, the mentors who believed in my potential. I didn't need Amanda's approval anymore. I didn't need my parents' pride. I'd built something stronger than family obligation. I'd built a life where my wheelchair wasn't a weakness or a lie. It was just part of who I was. Someone who refused to be dismissed, diminished, or defeated. And sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction. It's success despite every obstacle they put in your way. Amanda learned that lesson at her own wedding. In front of 300 guests and millions of online viewers. Some people call what I did cruel. I call it accountability. She wanted me to stop faking my disability? Fine. I stopped faking that her behavior didn't have consequences. That's not revenge. That's justice. And justice, unlike family loyalty, doesn't play favorites.